everybody. This is Sarge Clip, and we're going to do another episode of In the Field with Sarge. As you can tell, I got a new stove there. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. You can see it's a little bit smoky in here. Most of that is from my breath because it's about 32 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And we've got a fire just now started. So once I get that rocking and rolling, I'll be right back with you. Hey, we're about 10, 15 minutes in. Got fire started. It's just now starting to take off. We're up to 41 degrees and we've got the door open. So we're going to check out some new stuff tonight. Of course, we had some issues with going out to the mountain. There's a storm going on up there. But we're going to be back here in the COVID base camp. And like I talked about in my last episode, when you have a big tank of propane, what I did was I went ahead and got that Pro Heat vest, wrapped it around, turned it on low. It's sitting on some styrofoam down there with some foam insulation, and I've got the pilot light on. So we're going to see tonight, after it gets down below freezing, if this will be able to function properly without uh, the interference from being cold. Because propane, we know, when it gets below freezing, does not want to expand. But just in case, I've got a military tent or camp stove. I don't know what military it's from, but I didn't have that in my military. So, and just in case, we went ahead and downgraded. We do have the Redwood -5 degree Fahrenheit sleeping bag, just in case things fail. And we've got some emergency wood supplies outside, extra individual cans of propane. We do have a carbon monoxide detector in the tent. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it is on. I tested it. Functions fine. And we've got a whole mess of wood just in case. It is supposed to rain or snow tonight, so we'll go ahead and see how this ice fishing shack from Eskimo handles in the snow. We do have an MRE for tonight. We're going to go ahead and test that out. I did have some uh, subscriber questions, and we'll go ahead and answer some of those, and we'll just see how the night fares with all this new testing out. And I would rather test this stuff down here in the valley before going up on the mountain, of course, and getting stuck with your pants down. It's better to be prepared, have your redundant systems in place, and be prepared for everything. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get things tidied up a little bit, and I'll be right back with you. Episode of In the Field with Sarge. As you can tell, I got a new stove there. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. You can see it's a little bit smoky in here. Most of that is from my breath because it's about 32 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And we've got a fire just now started. So once I get that rocking and rolling, I'll be right back with you. All right, so we're back. We've got a car racing around town in the background. But we're about another 15 minutes in. Temperature's up to 46. And I wanted to show something here and give a shout out to my cousin Susan and my Aunt Audrey. They sent me a box, and in it was a much larger box that had these. Now these are called overseas cookies. This has been in my family since pre-World War One, World War One era-ish, from Germany. And it was designed, well, they were from Germany, but they were American at the time. But this recipe is designed for a slow postal system. When our service members were overseas in World War One, it took weeks, if not months, to get packages to the soldiers up on the line. These cookies were designed to get better with age because really they're a sponge cake with chocolate chips and raisins and walnuts and all of that. So when they first come out of the oven, they're very, very soft and very, very pliable. But as they age, the better they get. So these were made every year by my grandmother and given out to all the veterans in our family. And when she passed, that kind of stopped. Now, there were a few of us that did have the recipe and, we made them for ourselves, but, it wasn't quite the same. And the other day, they took it upon themselves to go ahead and whip me up a batch, and these are definitely delicious. They are exactly the recipe, and I love them both very dearly. When I opened up the box, I did get very, very emotional when I saw them, because it has been a few years since I've had them. So tonight we're going to go ahead and partake in that as our dessert. And we're going to go ahead and try out Menu 16, the Chicken Burrito Bowl. Now, I did have some questions from some old veteran friends that did ask me about these newer MREs, if they are like the old ones that were designed to make it so you don't have to go to the bathroom. Well, they're not. These are perfectly fine. They go through you just like normal food, but definitely not like the old MREs back in the day. Now, I'm sure if I was on them for 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, for maybe about a month, who knows? But for right now, for the 2 or 3 that I try, and I've been tasting many, many MREs from all kinds of countries. And I'll be posting a P.O. box for my friends overseas if they would like to see me uh, go ahead and do an opening on their MRE and a taste test. I'll be glad to do it. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and let the fire build up here, and we're up to 50 degrees Fahrenheit now. And for right now, we'll go ahead and get everything set up and go from there. Be right back. All right, and as you can see, we're at 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and everything is going very well so far. I did bring some breakfast food. We're going to try to cook on the military camp stove. And let me explain a couple of things about this stove. I have had this stove for about, 15 years now. I've used it in my shop. Um, it has been well used. But I do know that in my shop, which has a little bit more area than this, it does put out a tremendous amount of heat, but it's really not the greatest to cook on. Now, up here on the top, we've got some racks. Those actually extend outward so you can hang gloves and hats, things like that, wet socks, um, to dry off from the heat of the stove. Of course, we've got the heat-generated fan circulating some of our air. I've got the door cracked just a little bit because I want to bring the temperature up. Um, I did have a question from one of my viewers that did ask, does it get too hot? Well, sure, you can make it too hot. I can run this wide open and probably get it up to about 120 degrees in here. But there is a flue on the door, and we do have a flue on the line right there, and I'll be eventually shutting that down. I also have a magnetic temperature gauge, tells me if my fire is too hot or too cold. So you can adjust the heat on this, or the temperature output on this, just by adjusting your flues. It is a slow response time. This was originally designed for a 2.5 inch or a 2.25 inch stack, and I did modify it for 4 inch so I can get a little bit more of a draw, and it's almost crazy too much. But even on the coldest of nights, I know I can make it nice and warm in here. Now, if it gets too warm, of course, all I have to do is open a window. I have 8 of them all around the tent. Of course, everything is covered by these blankets just to give us a little bit of insulation. But if you look at this window right here, the windows are Velcroed in, so I can crack that just to give me a little bit of fresh air in here. It did get a little smoky when I first started the fire, so that does help with that, and it does help maintain the temperature. See, right now I've got the door cracked, and we're right up to 63 degrees Fahrenheit. But we're not going to go maybe a little bit above 70 just to make it nice and comfy in here. But we're going to try to maintain that. Um, but I can make it extremely hot in here with this stove. The firebox on it is about 4 times bigger than the Fulton stove, so I don't have to add fuel to it as much. It'll burn anything that I put in there, coal, wood, the wood bricks, um, charcoal. It's amazing. It really, really is. But like I said, it's kind of tough to get some decent heat distribution on a pan. I do have water on. It's been on since the start, and it's just now getting hot. And like I said, I could crank the stove up and make the top all cherry red, but it would be very uncomfortable in here. I do have these tent lights going. Those are running off of this battery pack down here. If I can get it up. There we go. This has Bluetooth. It has an AM/FM stereo on it. It has a solar panel. It has 2 internal lights, one right there, one off the side. And of course it has 2 external lights. It is up on Amazon. It is fairly inexpensive, but not a bad deal. So in this bag, I have all my flashlights and power supplies. I'm going to need this one probably to recharge this phone that I'm using. So I have all the cables that I need in the side pockets. These are also power banks that run off USB. They're supplied by AA batteries, and they have a built-in flashlight. So they're pretty neat, pretty versatile, because you can just shove some AA batteries in there, and this little port comes out. It's got about a 2-inch lead on it if you need it. So I've got like 3 or 4 of those, and a couple of the brick style like this. This is really nice. This is a 9,000 milliamp lithium. Really, really holds a charge. You know, and of course the big bank I can charge off of it too, because it has a USB port and all of that. And if I wanted to, I can Bluetooth the speakers that are built into this thing and have the scanner running off it, but this is loud enough. All right, and we're back, and as you can tell, we've reached that 70 degrees Fahrenheit mark. I did go ahead and start to shut down the flue a little bit. We do have a pot of water on that is boiling, and let's review our MRE. Okay, so I did go ahead and open up the accessory pack because back in my day, for meals like this, we had little tiny glass bottles of Tabasco. So I just kind of wanted to see what they had in there. And of course they had the typical moist towelette. They have a sugar substitute. I'm just amazed at the thoughtfulness. Huge packet of iodized salt. But instead of Tabasco, We have Bulliard's pepper sauce made with Tabasco peppers. So it's probably a knockoff of Tabasco. You've got your typical military toilet paper. And we've got our creamer. We have our Bill's Brew freeze-dried coffee. Okay. And of course your chiclets. Um, I didn't see any regular sugar. Nope, just a sweetener in this one. Wow. Okay. So we've got orange flavored fruit juice. Sounds like Tang. We have cheese spread. We have a chocolate chip toaster pastry. I wonder if that's a Pop-Tart. I'll open up the package and show you everybody and we'll see what it is. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, so after the break I'll check that out. And then of course we have our chicken burrito bowl. And I'm going to go ahead and get that into the boiling water, so we'll get that hot. And we have the beverage mixing bag, which is a great little Ziploc bag. Great for equipment out in the field or paperwork. Something to keep your wallet dry. And of course we have the sleeve for the chicken burrito bowl. I'm not going to use the heater, of course. I'll boil mine. But I do save these for when I do go up on the mountain. I will use these quite a bit. This, of course, won't be needed, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll use this for a fire starter. And then we have Recovery Trail Mix. There's pretzels, peanuts, I think. I don't know. I'll open it up and show everybody on that one too. And then we have tortillas or tortillas. But that's interesting. I've never seen that. So I guess what we'll do with the chicken burrito bowl ingredients, which is chicken with rice, beans, and vegetables, I'll go ahead and make me a really nice burrito with these tortillas. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my coffee made. I'll get the chicken burrito bowl meal in the boiling water so it'll heat up, and then I'll open up the chocolate chip toaster pastry and the Recovery Trail Mix and we'll check them out together. Be back in a flash. All right, and we're back. It's still 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I went ahead and opened up that Recovery Trail Mix, and it's just mixed nuts and looks like pretzel nuggets. They're actually very tasty. The chocolate chip toaster pastry was like I anticipated. It is a Pop-Tart, but not a real Pop-Tart. Probably one of those cheap knockoffs. And the tortillas are really nice, soft, look fresh, smell fresh. So we'll go ahead and try that out with the chicken burrito bowl. We'll make our own burritos and we'll put some of the cheese on it because they don't give you anything else to put the cheese on, so that's what I'm assuming it's for. So we'll go ahead and we'll be back with you here after the chicken burrito bowl is done, and I'll give you my honest opinion. All right, and we're back, and I went ahead and got the sugar out of the spice bag like I showed in my last episode because I did make some coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to it. And I did go ahead and taste that Bulliard's pepper sauce, and I got to admit, I kind of dig it. It's to me, it's a lot tangier than Tabasco, and it brings on a little bit more heat. So I'm going to go ahead and mix my coffee here. I did use the coffee and the creamer from the MRE. I will admit that I did use one of the half and half little moos in there. I'm waiting for the creamer that came with the MRE to dissolve. It's always been a problem with MREs. But I tell you what, the definitely makes good fire starter. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let the chicken burrito bowl that I just pulled out of the water cool down a second so I can kind of handle it. I'll make a burrito and I'll give you my opinion. But I've got to say, from the previous ones that I've had, I'm definitely impressed, and they've definitely come a long, long way. Be right back. All right, we're back, and that's what they look like before I roll them up. I did put some of the pepper sauce in there. I didn't use any of the salt. I was tempted to go into the spice bag and get some dehydrated onions and a little bit of garlic, but to give an honest review, I want to use what came with the kit. So like I said, there was salt, but I didn't use it. I did use the pepper sauce, um, and I did save some for my eggs in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and chow down, and we'll talk to you after a while. Well, here we go. Just got done eating. Those were great. They really were. I was totally amazed. Just enough heat. Could have used a little bit of that salt. The chicken was great. The beans in it were fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and have some of my overseas cookies and a cup of coffee. I've got the fire settling down now. We're still at 70 degrees, which is nice and comfortable in here. The temperature has dropped down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So this stove is more than capable of doing its job. Also like to give a shout out to all my friends over the pond in the UK. Nigel, Beth, Steve, Glenn, Marie, Mitchell, and the rest of the gang, my magnet fisher friends in the UK. They've all got magnet fishing YouTube channels. They're all connected to this video at the end. Check them out. It's a pretty interesting hobby. Finding little bits of history and cleaning up the waterway at the same time. Mitchell does metal detecting and digging, and the bottles and stuff that he's found and the relics are incredible. Same with the rest of them. Steve found a machine gun. They find elements of a crime, bits of history, all kinds of stuff. It's very, very interesting and a lot of fun. Big family atmosphere. Very, very, very good group to be with. That's why, SJ with Outcast Radio and myself went ahead and sponsored those guys. So give them a shout out. Stop by. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Give them a like. And sorry about that. Had to run away real quick. Thought I had someone in the backyard. It was actually the neighbor's cat. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sit back, enjoy some of these overseas cookies and a cup of coffee. Enjoy this fire, listen to the scanner, and see what's going on. So, we're done with the coffee. We are very comfortably content. Gonna do a quick check of the Pro Heat vest on the propane tank. It's doing great. We've got the pilot light going. It hasn't fluttered at all. Right now it is 28 degrees outside. It's supposed to drop down lower than that. So, when I get done here, I'm going to go ahead and get the battery packs out and charge the phone and uh, recharge some of these lights up here. These are rechargeable lanterns, but they also have bug zappers on them. And you can find them on Amazon. They're actually very, very handy in the summertime and great in the winter. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Well, here. You just give them a twist and the bottom drops out. And you have a lantern and a bug zapper and an emergency signal light. And it's fully rechargeable. You have two buttons here. There's a bottom light. Of course, it's got a low and then an emergency flash. And then the other side, let me see if I can get it. That is blue lights. I don't know if it shows up. Maybe if I shut the other one off. Blue lights, that's your actual bug zapper in there. You also have white light. And then, of course, flashing red. So it's a pretty handy little lamp, especially when these guys in the main battery pack get just a little too bright. So it'll give me the opportunity to use those and, of course, recharge one while you're using the other. So with that, I'll go ahead and get ready to bed down and see you in the morning. Well, good morning. We survived the night. It's 73 degrees in here, nice and comfy and warm. And we're going to go ahead and get everything together and start cooking some breakfast. I got some fresh bagels from Einstein Bagels, some bacon, eggs, and cheese. So we'll go ahead and we'll start doing that. I got some water on. We're going to make some coffee and enjoy our morning. Right now it's 18 degrees outside and it is cold with that wind blowing. So let me go ahead and get started. All right. Got the bacon and eggs going. Okay, temperature's up to about 77 in here because I am cooking. And I did go ahead and get everything going for the coffee. It's down there ready to rock and roll. Salt and pepper. And I just gotta watch your pour. And that looks about good there. Salt and pepper. We'll toast that bagel here shortly and enjoy our breakfast. Okay, there you have it. Bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, onion style. To go ahead and start our day. We got the coffee going. So remember, everybody, be safe out there. Love one another. Check out the links in the description and check out my friends and give me a like and subscribe and shoot me a line and let me know ideas on content you want to see. Of course, we're kind of restricted as to where I can get to and what I can do, but we'll see what we can do. Take care, everyone. Thank you for all that you do.